Hello friends, welcome to Best Note Tutorials. UGC notifications are out and all the aspirants must be working very hard. We want to put in our effort in order to make you get through your examination. So today we are here with all the important work of PB Shelley, which are going to be extremely crucial for your examination. So without wasting time, let us start. Percy Shelley. He was born on 4th August 1792 and he died on 8th July 1822. He was born on Horsham, Sussex, England, and he died when he was on voyage Gulf of La Spezia, Kingdom of Sardinia. Now it is Italy. His occupation is dramatist, essayist, and novelist. He belongs to Romantic period of English literature. There are two eras: initial Romantic, early Romantic poet, and later Romantic poets. So he belongs to later Romantic poets. Shelley's best known classic poems: Ozymandias, Ode to the West Wind, To a Skylark, Music When Soft Voices Die, The Cloud, and The Mask of Anarchy. All these are extremely crucial works of Shelley. We are going to discuss one by one, and I have included those points which are going to be extremely important for the examination. So without wasting time, let us start. Ozymandias. It was published in the year 1818 on 11th July. The poem is written in iambic pentameter. This poem is included in Rosalind and Helen, a modern eclogue with other poems. It is a collection of poems, and here we find Ozymandias. Okay, Shelley wrote the poem in friendly competition with his friend and fellow poet Horace Smith. He had challenged Horace Smith, therefore he has written this poetry. And on same name we find poetry of Horace Smith as well. It is with same title, and the work was published in the collection The Examiner in 1818 under the pen name Glerasts. Smith's poem was published in poetic collection The Examiner. Both poems explore the fate of history and the ravages of time. Even the greatest men and the empires they forge are impermanent, their legacies fated to decay into oblivion. This is true. In history we find great emperors, great kingdoms, but in elapsement of time all the glory vanishes. Ozymandias is the name of Egyptian pharaoh. His another name is Ramesses II. He ruled Egypt in the year in 13th century before Christ. This poetry was written when fragments of this statue, that is head and torso, had been removed in the year 1860. It was from the mortuary temple of Ramesses, the Ramesseum at Thebes. It was by the Italian adventurer Giovanni Battista Belzoni who excavated the remnant of this pharaoh. Let's move to the next poem. Let me tell you important question from this. You might be asked all these important questions, so please be aware. Then we will move to Ode to the West Wind. The poem was written in the woods outside Florence, Italy in the autumn of 1819. In the poem, the speaker directly addresses the west wind. So by this we know the literary device which is used is personification. Ode to the West Wind is personified. West wind is personified here. The speaker treats the west wind as a force of death and decay and welcomes this death and decay because it means that rejuvenation and rebirth will come soon. We all have read Ode to the West Wind, and it talks about rejuvenation and rebirth. It celebrates death and decay because new life can be possible after destruction of the present form. Let me show you few of the lines which have come repeatedly in the examination. These are: the comrade of thy wanderings over heaven, of some fierce Maenad, even from the dim verge of the horizon to the zenith's height, of the dying year to which this closing night will be the doom of a vast sepulture. Next poem is To a Skylark. The poem consists of 21 stanzas made up of 5 lines each. The first 4 lines are metered in trochaic trimeter and fifth is iambic hexameter called Alexandrine. This is very important, friends, because this was asked in KVS and PGT as well. The rhyme scheme of each stanza is AB, ABB. There are total 105 lines in the poem. The bird is characterized as a spirit, bird who flies in the air. Okay, in the same way, human spirit can fly anywhere, any place. So it has been compared with a bird. The skylark's song is compared to other natural phenomena by a series of similes. The poet compares skylark, the bird, with so many things: poet, songs, nature. Okay, so we need to remember that. Let's move to the next question. Music when soft voices die. This is another important poem of PB Shelley, which was written in 1821 here, and it was published in Posthumous Poems. It is a short poem. You can say it is poetic fragment. The theme of the poem is the endurance of the memories of events and of sensations. Published in 1824 after the sudden death of Shelley. At the age of 29, he had died in an accident. He was on voyage during that, and this fragment was published after his death. Okay, keep in mind that. Let's move to the next poem, that is The Cloud. It was written in 1819, late 1819 or early 1920s. This is the collection Prometheus Unbound. The poem consists of 6 stanzas in anapaestic or antidactylous meter, a foot with 2 unaccented syllables followed by an accented syllabus. This structure was also asked in one of the examination of UGC, so I have included this. The cloud is a metaphor for the unending cycle of nature. I hope it's clear. Let's move to the next poem. The Mask of Anarchy. It talks about politics, okay, and the wheel which it carries. And this was written in the year 1890. It is typical anarchical poem. Anarchical means which talks about politics, king, throne, etc. Okay. The poem has 372 lines, largely in 4-line quatrains, written on the occasion of the Peterloo Massacre, Manchester, 1819. This Peterloo Massacre had happened because people followed peaceful means to oppose the crown, and there were soldiers who massacred these innocent people. It has touch of Mahatma Gandhi's non-violence as well, where people without any violence wanted to revolt against the throne, but they failed and massacre occurred. Here are the important lines. Stand ye calm and resolute, like a forest close and mute. Rise like lions after slumber, in unvanquishable number. Friends, here the poet talks about igniting that force, that fire among common people, which will change their present. Let's move to the next. I have already discussed important extracts. The old lords of England, they whose reverend heads with age are grey, children of a wiser day, and whose solemn voice must be thine own echo liberty. Let's move to the next. Shelley's major works. His other major works include a groundbreaking verse drama, The Cenci, and long visionary philosophical poems such as Queen Mab. Later on, it was reworked and the title was changed to The Demon of the World. Next, his work is Alastair, The Revolt of Islam, Adonais, Prometheus Unbound, widely considered his masterpiece. This Prometheus Unbound was considered masterpiece. Then we get Hellas, a lyrical drama, unfinished work, The Triumph of Life. Because of his untimely death, there were so many projects which were unfinished. So this is The Triumph of Life is one of those. Let us discuss one by one. Hellas, a lyrical drama. Hellas is a verse drama, written in 1821 and published in 1822. Shelley wrote it while living in Pisa. It was for raising money for the Greek War of Independence. It was a kind of charity. It was to be Shelley's last published poem during his lifetime. See, most of the works of PB Shelley was published after his death. During his lifetime, he was much, less popular than he became after his death. Alright, let's move to few more details. Hellas, a lyrical drama, is dedicated to Prince Alexander Mavrocordato. The drama focuses on Sultan Mahmud, who controls the Turkish attack on Greece. It expresses a universalized theme of futility of war. Next, we will move to the important lines from examination point of view. These are the 6 lines which has come in our last year examination, so I have included. The world's great age begins anew. The golden years return. Heaven smiles and fades, and empires gleam like wrecks of a dissolving dream. The world is weary of the past. Oh, might it die or rest at last. So please prepare all these things and remember these lines are from Hellas, a lyrical drama. Next important masterpiece is Prometheus Unbound. It is a 4-act lyrical drama. It was published in 1820. It is concerned with the torments of Greek mythological figure Prometheus. It is inspired by the classical Prometheia, a trilogy of plays attributed to Achilles. Important lines from the exam. For the exam, these are the lines which has come in the last year. I curse thee, let a sufferer's curse clasp thee, his torturer like remorse. Gentleness, virtue, wisdom, and endurance, these are the seals of that most firm assurance. Please prepare these lines. Now you know that these has come from Prometheus Unbound. Next poetry is Adonais, an elegy on the death of John Keats, his poetic rival. See, he found John Keats equally competitive. Therefore, every time both of them were on contrary views. Okay, but at his death, at John Keats' death, he was extremely saddened and he dedicated this poetry to him. It is a pastoral elegy which was written in 1821. It has 495 lines in 55 Spenserian stanzas. Adonias is Shelley's own creation and not Greek myth. By its name, we might mistake it as if it is a character in Greek mythology, but it is not so. It is created by Shelley. Shelley created the name by combining the name for the Greek god of fertility and beauty, Adonis, and Hebrew word Adonai means our Lord. The poem belongs to Romantic period, of course, because John Keats and PB Shelley, both of them belongs to Romantic period. Let's move to next. These are important lines from Adonias from the examination point of view. He has outsoared the shadow of our night, envy and calumny, and hate and pain. Nor let us weep that our delight is fled, far from these carrion kites that scream below. The sun comes forth and many reptiles sprawn. He sets and each ephemeral insect then. Cenci, okay. Cenci, it is a tragedy in 5 acts which was written in 1819, and this is a real story. Okay, it is in verse drama. The play was inspired by a real Italian family. You remember this, okay? This is very important. The play was not performed in England when it was written because it talks about incest and parricide. Incest means to have relationship with blood relatives, okay, and parricide is killing one's father, okay. Queen Mab, it is a philosophical poem with notes published in 1813 in 9 cantos with 17 notes. It is the first large poetic work of PB Shelley. He depicts a too prolonged revolt involving necessary changes brought on by both nature and virtuousness of man, virtuousness of human being. Here we find change can occur through nature, okay, and by the willingness of human being. So these two aspects are shown in this poetry. Let's move to the next. These are other details about Queen Mab. William Clark was imprisoned for 4 months for publishing and distributing Queen Mab. See, PB Shelley had written this poetry and few of the copies he distributed among his friends, but many he had kept in a library, okay, and Mr. William Clark found it and he published it without the notice of PB Shelley. Therefore, he was imprisoned, okay, for 4 months, but he could not charge him because the poetry that PB Shelley had written was illegal because it was not published, okay, it was not published. Therefore, and the theme which it had, okay, that was not legalized. Therefore, he had to get imprisonment. But copyright claiming PB Shelley could not do, okay, because it was not legalized. Queen Mab is a fairy, okay. The main protagonist of the story is the poetry is Queen Mab, who is a fairy, and Queen Mab wants to make human being aware that what will be the future of human being if they will continue oppressing people, okay, continue doing injustice to people, continue keeping people in misery and sufferings. So stand the folly of oppression, injustice, misery and sufferings, now for a better change. Let's move towards Alastair. Alastair, or the spirit of solitude. This is another nickname, okay? Written from 10th September to 14th December in 1815, the poem has 720 lines. Thomas Lovepicker suggested the title. The poet rejects, and in the poetry we find there is an Arabian lady, and she was very perfect, but poet rejects her because he thought that he will get ideal women in upcoming future. This dream vision serves as a mediator between natural and supernatural domain by being both spirit and an element of human love. So by this we understand that there is a world of natural world that we live in, and there is supernatural world also, okay, and we cannot be part of only one at time. We have to be present in both, because there is essence of supernatural elements in us which influences our life. Let's move to the next poem in 12 cantos, which was written in 1817. The poem was originally published under the name Laon and Sintha. The plot centers on two characters named Laon and Sintha, who initiates a revolution against despotic ruler of fictional state of Argolis. These points you will have to keep in mind, okay? Please note it down. The work is a symbolic parable on liberation and revolutionary idealism following the disillusionment of the French Revolution. Okay, we can understand. See, the poetry does not talk much about Islam, but indirectly it talks about liberation from previous idealism. Okay, the last poetry that I have included is The Triumph of Life, which was not complete. Okay, The Triumph of Life was the last major work of which was written in 1822. The theme of the poem is an exploration of the nature of being and reality. Composed in terza rima, the poem is strongly influenced by Dante's Inferno, Petrarch's Trionfi, and the cravings of Roman triumphal processions. Okay, all these talks about failure of these great people in life. Okay, even though they have reached their heights in life, but from inside they failed. Who triumphed their life? Let us see. The triumph and masquerade as the mask of anarchy belongs to the cruel chariot of life, here shown as one of Shelley's tyrant figures. Here we need to understand that the people who governed our world, okay, during their lifetime were not the one to triumph their world, but there are other people who won the battle of life. And who all were there? Let us find out. It talks about vanquishing hopes and ideals of all men, the hopes and aspirations that human being has. Okay, it should be destroyed. Okay, dragging in its train even the greatest like Plato, Alexander, Napoleon got destroyed. Okay, only the sacred few, sacred means purest ones, okay, like Jesus and Socrates, who early fled back like eagles to their native noon. Here the people who have already sacrificed their lives, okay, at proper time, they are the one who triumphed their life. But these people, Plato, Alexander, Napoleon, they have trapped themselves because there was a quest of earning more, there was a quest of learning more. Okay, so let us find out. Thank you everyone. By this we have completed our entire work of PB Shelley. Thank you. I hope you like this video. Till then we will meet. Take care. Bye.